So are you ready for the apocalypse? Did you know that 32% of Christians are preparing for the apocalypse? I'm David Tomsick, and this is Loud and Clear. I didn't know that. 32% of Christians are preparing for the apocalypse. I'm a little confused. I don't know what apocalypse they're preparing for, because a lot of people who aren't Christians are preparing for the apocalypse. So is it the same thing? Or are Christians thinking about the end of time when Jesus is about to return, what they call the tribulation time, 7 years of hell on earth before Jesus comes? Now, the church, Christians, believe that Jesus is going to rapture them, which means taken away, disappearing into the clouds. I'm sure you saw some of those movies. Kirk Cameron made a few of those movies, if not way too many of them, how people just disappear. Christians disappear, and everybody who isn't a Christian is left behind. It's called the Left Behind series. Okay? So there are three ways to look at that. See, many people believe that before any trouble occurs, Jesus will come back and take the church, his church, all the people that are his, that are Christians. Now, there is a problem with that. Many Christians believe that only certain people are going to be taken away. If you're a mediocre Christian, if you're not right where you need to be exactly, you're stuck here. They're going to go because they're all righteous and they're ready. So they believe they'll be taken before anything happens, before any tribulation happens in those 7 years. Others believe that we'll be taken, raptured, it's called rapture, taken away, mid-tribulations. That's mid. Then there's the post-trib. There's the people who believe that we'll be taken away after all the trouble has occurred. They believe that Christians will have to go through all 7 years of the tribulation, facing persecution and beheadings and jailing, all those things. So this is an apocalypse. I mean, technically, the world is ending as we know it, right? It depends on what your definition of apocalypse is. They believe that's the apocalypse. And that's what I'm believing maybe these 32% are waiting for. Maybe. You might be asking, what's an apocalypse? Okay, I'm going to give you a definition here. The literal meaning of apocalypse is revelation or uncovering, from the Greek word apokalypsis. While it is commonly associated with the end of the world, which is what we're talking about, its original meaning is about unveiling of something that was previously unknown, such as a divine knowledge or truth. In a religious context, this refers to a revelation of God's will, often in symbolic visions, at the end of the world or during times of great crisis. Okay, so you can take your pick on what we're really looking at here. Basically, a revelation or uncovering, something new, or something that just means the end of the world and we're doomed. I don't know. See, if it's the end of the world, what does it matter? But if it's a great crisis, you have to decide if it's a crisis or not. One crisis to one person might not be the same crisis to another. If you're a billionaire, a banking crisis doesn't mean anything to you. If you're just a schmuck like me and there's a banking crisis, you're in trouble. You see the difference? The very idea of an apocalypse, the end of the world as we know it, has long fascinated and terrified people for thousands of years. It's the unknown. The world will end at some point, but how? And again, when? And people have been trying to discover that, again, for thousands of years. Just so you know, there were plenty of people during the 20th century that believed it was the end of the world. I'll give you a few of those, and you may remember them. Heaven's Gate, who committed mass suicide in 1997. The People's Temple, whose followers died in a mass murder-suicide in 1978, instigated by leader Jim Jones. Other historical examples include Shinrikyo, who attacked the Tokyo subway with sarin gas to accelerate the apocalypse. And of course, there was the Worldwide Church of God, which had a strong belief that the world would end in 1975. Here's a little caveat to that. The Society of Women in the Wilderness was the first doomsday cult in the New World, believing the world would end in 1694. Let me stop right there. If you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, and share all of our videos. We want to grow our audience, and with your help, we can. So just to let you know, there are different beliefs that really are set up by different groups on how to handle an apocalypse. Mostly people like me and you, we prepare by stockpiling food and water, supplies. People who are rich maybe have a lot more money, can maybe build a bunker or have a safe house somewhere. And many just have a go bag ready to get out of the house if trouble comes. And that go bag has enough supplies to get them from point A to point B. The problem is, you got to have a point B. I guess if it's an apocalypse, maybe it doesn't matter where it is. Now, for many Christians, conservative Christians, the apocalypse really does have to do with the coming of Jesus. Now, this poll that was taken, 32% of Christians, again, I'm not sure who they're talking about here. If they're talking about people who are just ready for what's happening right now in the world. Many people believed, whether it was under Bush, Obama, Biden, or now Trump, that the government would collapse, that the banking system would collapse, the U.S. dollar would be attacked by the Russians and the Chinese, a meteor will come or an EMP will take out all of our power. Go down the list of all these possibilities that could really cause an apocalypse. And really, if any of those things happen, things change. Only if they happen on a national scale. Because we've had massive storms that have destroyed, say, New Orleans. Remember that? There are storms that came about and wiped regions of our country out, but the rest of the country was still intact. What I'm talking about here is if something happened on a mass scale, not just one town or one city or one state. And that's what people worry about. I personally worry about that stuff. I'm not a conspiracy theorist anymore. I used to be a big one. Big conspiracy theorist. But now I know that it is possible that something could happen. The probabilities are growing right now under Donald Trump, but not to a point where I'm going to go under my bed and pull some food under there and try to hide. With right-wing Christians, there's a whole nother story here. And it's something that is scary to me. And I want to talk about it a little bit. Conservative Christians, and I believe this just doesn't count the 32% that are preparing for an apocalypse. There are many, many Christians who truly believe that it's the end of the world now, that Jesus is coming back any second, that all the signs point to it, and they'll be gone. And this has changed the psychology of Christianity in a big way, not in a good way. I repeat, this is not good. And let me explain. As a Christian, I was involved in this theology. Some of these ideas came from two people, Nelson Darby and Cyrus Scofield. They created a theology that's called dispensationalism. And I'm not going to get into dispensationalism. It's very complex. Now, keep in mind, dispensationalism is still highly controversial. Not every Christian or scholar believes this is true. I don't myself, okay? I don't believe that what they came up with is true. But this theology has taken root in many evangelical churches, Pentecostal churches, and has even seeped into other churches who aren't considered evangelical. Many people believe that dispensationalism is true. And out of dispensationalism comes the rapture of the church and the very fact there's going to be this tribulation and a timeline to when it's going to happen. And Christians will be able to see, the right Christians will be able to see the signs and prepare for the coming of Jesus. And that at one point they're gone. Now here's the problem with all that. The problem today that radical politicized evangelicals, right-wing Christians, whoever fits into that category now, they still want to take over the 7 hills of society. Those 7 hills are family, religion, education, government, media, arts and entertainment, and business. They want to take that over and make this a Christian nation. And of course, if it's a Christian nation, does God have to come back and do anything? Does Jesus have to come back? Does there have to be 7 years of tribulation? Many believe no. Many believe yes. This is where it gets ugly. This is where a lot of people have to be careful. Okay, so you have the 7 Hills Mandate people, which is MAGA, the MAGA Christians, right-wing conservatives, right-wing evangelicals, a lot of people, okay? Then you have people who believe that Jesus is coming back any day and nothing matters. I know Christians personally that believe any second now Jesus is coming back because the signs are all there. The signs are there, all of it. God has showed them that the signs are here. What's happening in our country and our world shows that God's going to come back any minute. It's so evil. And they'll tell me how evil everyone is and how ugly it is, that they can't wait to get out of here. They can't wait to go. Nothing matters because any minute now, we're going. Do you think that's a problem? Do you think the psychology behind that is a problem? Because it is psychology. You see, there's no evidence of this. You see, they truly believe that the events happening in our world today, For instance, gay people. Now they're out of the closet. You see them. See, they'd rather have them in the closet. Now that you see them, that's a sign of the end of the world. You can go down the list here. Democrats, also known as demonicrats, because they're demonic. That tells us how close we are to the coming back of Jesus, because he's tired of them Democrats. He's tired of gay people. He's tired of all these people that hate everybody. Well, that includes them, right? Because they hate all the people I just mentioned. I digress there. But you see the danger here. See, the apocalypse to them is positive. The apocalypse to them is something that solves all the problems all at once. We're going to be in heaven. We're not going to worry about any of that stuff anymore. We don't have to face it or deal with it. This is where it gets me. You want to leave before your work's done. Your job was to do what Jesus commanded you to do. I talked about that on a video I just posted the other day. I'm going to put a link to that video about how Christians refuse to listen to the words and obey the words of Jesus. They don't want to do those words. They want to be gone because they hate everybody. They literally say that. I don't like it. Everybody's evil. I travel everywhere. Everywhere. Talk to people out of nowhere. It's me. I go up, hey, how you doing? What's happening? Very seldom have I ever had anything negative happen. I can't think of one. Most people want to say hi. Most people. Most people are cordial and nice. There's a conflict here. What I'm seeing in the world and what these people are seeing in the world conflict with each other. That's because they have a veil over their eyes. That veil of, we're Christians, we're special, we're going to go any second now because the world's terrible and we're not going to worry about you anymore. You'll be stuck here during the tribulation. Bye. You're going to be in bad shape. Maybe. But if you look at the scriptures, Jesus said, hey, I'm coming back, but I have no idea when. No idea. Because, see, God's the only one that knows that. The reason he didn't tell Jesus, why? Well, because Jesus would have to tell the truth. Well, I kind of know when I'm coming back. But he didn't say when he's coming back. It could be any time, like a thief in the night. So the question is, do you shut the world out and just prepare in your basement to be raptured? Or do you go out and deal with your fears face to face? Say hi to some of those gay people. Talk to them. See how they're doing. Most of them are pretty nice, I'm sure. I'm guaranteeing it. Maybe go talk to those immigrants. Say, hi, how are you doing? Is there anything I can help you with? People that are marginalized. Go in and do what Jesus told you to do. And then as you do that, you're not worried about the end of the world. You're here trying to do the best you can as long as you have the ability to do it. You're going to follow the commands of the person you follow. Right? If you follow Jesus, you will follow his commands. Not worry that today's the last day. It could be tomorrow. Oh, it's horrible. Any minute now they're coming to get me. I've been told that, and I've heard, they're going to come and cut my head off any minute now. What they have is something special. It's called they're out to get me. It's a complex. They're out to get me complex. Christians, many right-wing Christians say this all the time. You hear this from Christian leaders, whether on TV or from their pulpits. You hear this in meetings. They're out to get us. They won't allow us to do anything. They're trying to stop us from believing how we want to believe. I've never seen that. Have you? They didn't want us to preach during COVID. Well, most right-wing conservative people, the radicals, didn't believe in COVID. So if somebody didn't come and say, hey, don't get together, they would do it anyway. How many people died because of it? How many people died because of the spread of COVID because no one wanted to listen to people who are health professionals? We know that now. So 32% of Christians. Again, I don't know what that 32% really represents. I do know that most likely there are more than that are preparing. A lot of people are preparing for an apocalypse. FEMA tells you to prepare for a crisis, which could lead into an apocalypse. We don't know what's coming. No one knows what's coming. It's nice to be prepared. Keep in mind, you can only be as prepared as the amount of food, clothing, water, and medical supplies you can buy, you can afford to buy. So there's always going to be this limit. You're always going to hope that if you're trying to survive, that it's only 30 days or 2 weeks, whatever the amount of food you have to survive with. If it's a zombie apocalypse, you might be out of luck. That'd be a terrifying type of apocalypse, wouldn't it? That's all the time I have. God bless you all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our video. Don't forget to check out my other channel, The David Tomsic Report. I'll leave a link in the description box to get to that. Don't forget to love your neighbor as yourself. It's not a request from Jesus, that's a command. I'll see you next time right here on Loud and Clear.